I wanted to get it right into that though, because you are a Mavericks fan. We could talk about that because I'm a Knicks fan, and we went through a similar. We ended up both with a loss. We had Cam Reddish in the game; he was hot, but you guys had Christian Wood in the game. That's the talk of the town right now for you guys. Anyone who's a Dallas fan, what do you think happened right there with Jason Kidd and the Mavericks decision?
I don't know what he's thinking, man. First of all, I don't know why he's not starting. In my opinion, he needs to be in there over JaVale McGee. Period. He's way more productive on the offensive side of the floor. I understand that JaVale McGee, it brings a rim protection element that we haven't had in years. You know, we probably haven't had a good rim protector, even Porzingis. We probably haven't had a good rim protector since Tyson Chandler. And I understand that McGee brings that. He gives Luka a lob threat. But Christian Wood brings all of that and more. Christian Wood actually he's a better playmaker, I think, by far than JaVale McGee. Better passer. Did you see the way he was passing the ball last night?
Yeah,
the ball movement was amazing with him on the floor. And when he scores 16 straight points to build a lead like that, you take him off of the floor and you blow that lead. I have no idea what Jason Kidd was thinking. And I've loved the job Jason Kidd has done with the Mavericks so far, but that was not his best moment last night.
No, that was like Tom Thibodeau-ish.
No.
As a Knicks fan. And the thing is, Jason Kidd is my favorite point guard ever. Like some people say, you know, I've struggled with him being the best passer I've ever seen in my life. But these are the sort of things I seen when he was on the Brooklyn Nets, and even on Milwaukee, I would see these little lapses with him. And I mean, last year obviously was just this jump up where everybody agreed, because to get Christian Wood there, and do we have to give Nico Harrison his props for that, for bringing in Christian Wood? Is that all him?
I think we got to give Nico Harrison some props. Nico Harrison, I love that hire because he's a player's executive. You know what I mean? He's in tune with the players. I know he's got a really good relationship with Kawhi Leonard and everybody through the Nike brand. So I love that acquisition of him last year. We got to give him a little time to keep building. My problem is the Dallas Mavericks haven't been able to attract big free agents since I've been alive. So, you know, we've always tried to build through the draft and build through trades. That's how we got Tyson Chandler back in the day. And, you know, Tyson Chandler deserves his props for that 2011 championship. I just want to throw that out there. People forget he was the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year that year. So, and then he won it the next year with the Knicks, I believe.
Yes. I don't know if it's well-deserved, but he doesn't get his props. He's not going to get his props. It's just.
No, because defense isn't sexy, right?
Exactly. You said it better than I could. What do you expect from the Mavs though? Because I know we got Jalen Brunson from you guys, but this Christian Wood thing, to me, the acquisition on offense, it makes up for a lot. He's bigger. He can do a lot. He can provide the scoring, and he can pass from a right. He can shoot, and he can pass from a different angle than Jalen Brunson and see over these double teams. Like Jalen Brunson, you can see that in the preseason. He can't see. He's very smart player, but he can't maybe.
And Brunson struggled last night for a little while. He struggled in that first half. You know, he got things going later on, and I love what I saw from Cam Reddish. I'm a Duke fan, so I'm rooting for Cam Reddish, man.
Wait, see our reaction. I was doing something called Knicks Wednesdays. My man, Uncle Ice, all ball with Uncle Ice. We do that every Tuesday, but yesterday was our first Knicks Wednesday. He called it. I said, I want to see RJ Barrett with the ball at the end of the game. I've seen RJ Barrett so many times with the ball at the end of the game. He goes, nah, man, Cam Reddish is better. And
whoa.
Oh, yeah. Listen, it's New York. You know we hype everything up.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
I'm from New York, so yeah. I get it.
Are you from Queens?
No, I'm actually from Long Island.
Oh, okay.
I don't live there anymore. I've lived in Canada for about 6 years now.
Okay, because I saw you and Ryan V talking about it. I was like, yo, are they from Queens? I'm like, 6 degrees of separation.
So Ryan and Mr. Cheeks from the Lost Boys, they're best friends. And Mr. Cheeks co-hosts the Ryan Show with him. And they used to throw parties every Monday night in Queens at a place called Tavern Lounge. Tavern Lounge has since been shut down.
Oh yeah,
because I believe somebody got killed there.
Not a surprise.
But yeah, they used to throw parties there every night. They did a live show. And you know, Ryan's always in Queens. He's always in the city doing his thing, making moves. And yeah, that's our connection to the city, man. And also Hampton Dave, the other co-host of the show, he lives in Brooklyn. So yeah, so and Mr. Cheeks, you know, he's always in he holds it down in Queens. That is Mr. Queens right there. So
Nah, that's a Queens legend. He did listen. Again, Lost Boys aren't talked about enough in rap history. They had
hell no.
hits.
Especially New York rap history, man.
Yeah, they held the 90s down, just quality hits. You listen to them, it's timeless. But what do you expect from the Mavericks? I know it's I want to get back to basketball. Yeah. We can jump on hip hop if you want.
But we can do that later. Sure.
What do you expect from the Mavs? Because for me, I don't expect much from the Knicks, but just to make quality moves. And last night, Thibodeau they called a quality play, everything that I wanted. But for you guys, it wasn't that. So what do you expect? More of that, up and down?
I hope not. I mean, we had that game in the bag for 3.5 quarters. It felt like, we let them climb back a little bit in the third quarter, and I expect Luka to be Luka, but I really expect Kid to make the adjustments that are necessary to win games. And for me, I said it at the beginning when we were talking, Christian Wood's got to be in that starting lineup, and McGee's got to be coming off the bench, in my opinion. Tim Hardaway Jr. being back and being productive is up in the air right now.
Right.
We've never seen Hardaway come off the bench for the Mavs. You know what I'm saying? So Spencer Dinwiddie, he's a good third option right now. But I think that, a deadline move is what this team is going to need, and they need another shot creator. Luka needs that pressure on Luka right now to create everything on that offense is way too much. And I understand that Dinwiddie can create his own shot and everything, but he's not consistent with it. And neither is a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith. And I love Dodo. I love Dorian Finney-Smith. What he brings on both sides of the ball, love his energy. He's a fan favorite in Dallas. But for me, man, that's what needs to happen. We need another shot creator / playmaker. Take some pressure off of Luka. Get another secondary scorer next to him. Or make the adjustment and put Christian Wood in the starting lineup with Luka on the floor. I think that Luka makes big men look better than they are. He's kind of like Chris Paul in that aspect. Chris Paul has made big men look better than they are his entire career. I mean, he made DeAndre Jordan All-NBA. He made Clint Capella All-NBA. You know what I mean? So,
I forgot DeAndre Jordan made All-NBA
3 times.
That's kind of insane.
Yeah, all with the Clippers, all with Chris Paul as his point guard. And I think Luka Doncic has that effect. If you watch the last 20 games of the season last year, Dwight Powell had his best stretch that he's ever had because Luka was feeding him and Luka was creating easy buckets for him at the basket. So Luka, with a big man that can create his own shot, that's dangerous to me. And Christian Wood can create his own shot. So I'm still dumbfounded at why Kid has McGee in that starting lineup over Christian Wood. I don't think you trade what you traded for Christian Wood without making a move for him to be the starter. But hopefully that adjustment's made down the road. Jason Kidd has done a great job with the Mavericks. There's no denying that. And it's definitely different in this, his attitude and his coaching style is definitely different than what it was in Milwaukee and Brooklyn. But, he learned a lot from being on Vogel's staff on that championship run in 2020. I think he's been humbled as a coach. I think he's smarter as a coach. But last night, like I said, lapse in judgment. Hopefully that is not, that's the exception and not the rule.
I don't know if you watch baseball. I'm obviously a Mets fan from Queens, so I'm a Mets fan. We saw it last year with our coach. Same thing. It seems like analytics, people overthink. But what happened to the feel for the game? And then, of course, we can always point to, because I want to get back to Nico Harrison. There's only going to be 5, maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 teams a year that can actually have a chance to win. And that's primarily because there's only 4, 5, 6 top players. Once you have one of those guys, it ain't much to do around them. You're going to, it ain't that hard to win around them. You can't win around them. You're not really a good GM. Something's going on with the team. And I think
it's too quick to jump on Nico, though. I think I got to bring that more on Cuban. Cuban has never been able to reel in the big fish. Think about how many times we've ushered in the big name free agents. Think about the Carmelo, the Dwight Howard, the LeBrons. Ushered them all in. We were one of the first teams out every single time. Even Darren Williams, when he was a free agent from the Jazz. And Dallas is his hometown team.
Yes.
He grew up a Mavericks fan.
Yeah. Wow.
And he chose the Nets over Dallas. And I don't think Cuban's ever been able to reel in that big fish. He got lucky with the Dirk trade on draft night. Remember, Dirk was traded for
Milwaukee. Robert Trailer.
Tractor trailer on draft night. Yeah. R.I.P.
Yeah. Oh man, God bless.
And then that was a great draft for him. Things were looking great. I think they turned Pat Garrity into Steve Nash that draft too, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah.
That was 98.
98 or 99.
Yeah, Paul Pierce, right?
Yeah, and Pat Garrity went like 8th overall.
That's crazy.
Nuts.
He got drafted by the Magic, no Garrity?
No, he got traded to the Magic.
And that's how
I'm sorry, we acquired Pat Garrity on draft night from the Magic, and then we traded him, coupled with like a pick for Steve Nash.
Got you. Steve Nash was
in Phoenix.
Yeah, and his first Phoenix run. But no, I was not trying to blame Nico Harrison whatsoever.
Yeah, I know what you're saying though.
Yeah, I think that this era, and I'm glad you talked about Mark Cuban, because look, as a Knicks fan, and I just as a sports fan in general, I don't think we stress enough the top of the organization. Like I just said, if you have one of the 5 or 6 best players in the league, Luka's considered that right now.
Yeah,
as he should be. Yeah, as he should be. He's that talented. How much is Mark Cuban getting in the way? Because they did a lot for him. They got, this is Don Nelson Jr. retired. That's a big deal. Rick Carlisle, that means you chose the star over Rick Carlisle and Donnie Nelson, who could have been there for decades, really, a part of that organization.
Yeah. I love Don Nelson, by the way. I'm mixed on Cuban, because Cuban seems on the outside looking in. He looks like an owner that the players would love. He's engaged in games. He's on the court. He's probably the loudest dude in the building, right? Courtside, sitting on the bench with the players, almost getting in huddles on timeouts in big games just because he's hyping up his squad. So that looks like a guy somebody would love. But I think, and I don't think it's just the Mavericks that have had this problem. I think we've all fallen in love with analytics a little too much. And I think Cuban has started to go that way a little bit. And he's like, oh, we don't need to build the right squad around Luka because analytics says otherwise. When really, if you just watch the flow of the game and get a feel for the game, like you were saying, he needs something. He needs better shooters. He needs somebody in his backcourt to make up for the lack of defense. He needs another shot creator and a shot maker. But he does have shot makers. Let me not trash the rest of the Mavericks.
Yeah, but it was only 4 guys in double figures last night. So, and then you see Luka, and Dinwiddie's going to be off and on. So and then Christian Wood being there is like, he's more towards what you're saying. So I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and then listen, there's only one guy on the Mavericks I think we have kept around way too long, and we signed him to an extension this past offseason, and that's Maxi Kleber. He's got to go, man. Got to go. He's never healthy. He's inconsistent. I understand that he's had pretty good moments for us. He's knocked down big threes in that Jazz series last year, kept us in a few games. He's played great defense. But then, he'll either be hobbled or miss the next 15 games with, his back is just not holding up. And I think he's become a little overrated by other Mavericks fans. You know what I'm saying? The Mavericks fans love Maxi Kleber. And he's not the problem. But that's a guy that could have been expendable, man. Like, we could have traded Maxi Kleber for Lauri Markkanen last year. And I think Lauri Markkanen would have, or 2 years ago, and Lauri Markkanen would have been a way better addition to this team right now. Look what Lauri Markkanen did last night for the Jazz. He went off.
Yeah,